On screen, the Wild West was all bravado, swagger, six-shooters, and square-jawed heroes riding in to save the day. But behind the Stetsons and spurs, some of Hollywood's hardest cowboys were guarding truths that could have ended careers faster than a fired round. Studios buried secrets, staged marriages, and leaned on threats to keep their leading men looking straight. What if some of the most iconic Western stars spent years living double lives? The answer is both fascinating and tragic, because the image Hollywood sold was often very different from the lives these men actually lived. Ramon Navarro became a silent-era sensation and was marketed as Hollywood's answer to Rudolph Valentino. MGM sold him as romantic, exotic, and impossibly charismatic, while quietly working to bury anything that might threaten that image. Behind the scenes, he moved among trusted friends and gathered with members of Hollywood's closeted gay elite, while the studios fed fake romance stories to keep gossip under control. When talkies arrived, his heavy accent narrowed his opportunities, and his stardom faded. His death in 1968 during a robbery only added tragedy to a life already shaped by secrecy and pressure. George Maharis rose to fame on Route 66 and became a 1960s obsession because of his intensity and looks. He then moved into Western roles, bringing a rougher edge that fit the genre well. But his career took a hard hit after arrests for lewd conduct with men in 1967 and again in 1974. In an era when even rumors could destroy a leading man, the fallout was immediate and brutal. The contracts stopped, the calls dried up, and his momentum never fully returned. Randolph Scott became the model of the stoic cowboy, projecting calm masculinity across decades of Westerns. He played restraint so well that audiences believed in him completely, even when the roles themselves were simple. For years, he lived with Cary Grant in a beach house, and insiders treated it as one of Hollywood's worst-kept secrets. Publicly, the arrangement was softened into bachelor living, but the private reality was far more complicated. Whatever the exact truth was, Scott's off-screen life remained carefully sealed while his cowboy persona stayed intact. Most people know Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates in Psycho, but he also appeared in westerns like The Tin Star and Friendly Persuasion. His screen presence had a nervous edge that gave even frontier roles extra tension. Perkins struggled with his sexuality for much of his life and eventually married photographer Barry Berenson while raising two sons. He also underwent conversion therapy, reflecting just how punishing the era could be. After his death from AIDS-related complications in 1992, the toll of that double life became even clearer. Tab Hunter was sold as the perfect all-American dream, blonde, clean-cut, and impossible to resist. Warner Brothers built him into a heartthrob and carefully staged romances to keep the image looking spotless. In private, he was gay, and spent years in a relationship with Ronnie Robertson, while the studios fought to keep his real life hidden. A potential exposé in Confidential nearly blew everything up, but the studio managed to redirect the scandal. Later in life, Hunter finally told his story openly and became one of the clearest voices about how brutal that system was. Tyrone Power was one of Hollywood's most beautiful leading men, moving easily from swashbucklers to westerns. Fox sold him as the ideal romantic hero, and audiences bought the image completely. Privately, though, Power had relationships with men as well, and the gap between public image and private truth weighed heavily on him. His death at just 44 while filming in Spain ended a career that still had more to give. The secrets he carried were left behind as whispers rather than certainty. Richard Cromwell never fully fit the rugged mold Hollywood preferred, even though he had enough screen presence to work in early sound films. His career faded as the industry moved on, and he eventually stepped away from acting altogether. His brief marriage to Angela Lansbury was later described as a lavender marriage, reflecting the pressure many actors faced to hide who they were. After leaving Hollywood, he found a different kind of life as a ceramicist, which seems to have given him some peace. His story is a reminder that not every escape from Hollywood was glamorous, but some were necessary. The Wild West was never as straight as Hollywood sold it. These men rode across our screens with unshakable masculinity while hiding truths that could have ended everything. Some found a measure of peace, others met tragedy, but all of them lived inside an industry built to erase who they really were. Their stories still matter because they show how much talent was shaped, restricted, and sometimes damaged by secrecy. And they raise a question that still feels relevant today. What kind of art would these men have made if they'd been allowed to live openly?